Well, welcome back from the break, distinguished guests. You look a little bit different, maybe a little more frazzled than before you left for the break. However, we still need to talk about some very serious issues that are going on in our country right now. So there have been many questions on whether the rights of women should be put in the Constitution. Do you think that the time has come for women to have the same rights as men of this great nation? Abigail Adams once wrote to her husband, where is he?
Right here.
Oh, there he is, famous man over here, that to remember the ladies while creating the laws of this country. What do you think about women having more political power, more power within the family, etc., etc.? Okay, who would like to respond? Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Franklin.
Well, good morning, Jamie.
Good morning, Mr. Franklin.
Well, I think the idea of giving women more education, I think it's a great idea because Republican motherhood, we need to teach our next generation to grow up as nationalists and patriots, not loyalists. And I think it should be instituted in the Constitution and not like how it is right now. Like when Jefferson wrote the Constitution, he wrote the rights of all men. He didn't write the rights of all people. Where's Jefferson?
Jefferson is right there, conversing with his lawyer. So we got somebody. So why would you not
For the rights of all people in the Constitution.
I pass because I'm so frightened right now. Well,
Thomas Jefferson, don't be frightened. You are a slave-owning man that has affairs on stage. No, I'm not. However, you have the right to pass on this question, Mr. Jefferson. Would anyone else like to respond either to the question or to Mr. Franklin in general?
I have to support my wife, I guess. Saying that.
I would take the word "I guess" out. If you're married,
The camera is shocking me. But well, the Constitution will always be flexible, and I feel that oh, this is very good. I feel like there can always be change in the Constitution. So
yeah. You know what? This one did all second hour. She put the picture on there. Okay. Would anyone else like to respond to women's rights per se? Mr. Marshall?
Being that I ratified the U.S. Constitution, change is sometimes can be necessary, but in this matter, I believe it's not.
you said it.
Well,
I'm gonna get back to you on that.
okay. Anybody else before we move on? Okay, give me 1 second here. Okay. This is a multi-part question. We'll start with the first one, and then we'll go to the other ones depending on what response we get. Is slavery a necessary evil? Is slavery necessary? Henry. Oh, Patrick Henry. The voice of reason.
I believe that slavery is necessary because small farms need help to make a profit.
Okay. Is that it? Okay, Mr. Jefferson.
Okay,
The comeback kid.
the slavery is needed. It may not be correct. It is needed because farms need production, and without enough hands to get that production up, the economy will fall.
Mr. Hamilton.
I'd like to back up Mr. Henry on his prior statement. I do believe that slavery is correct in the sense that it's such a large part of our economy right now. It's such a huge staple in bringing in money and trading with other countries that I believe that it is required at this point in time.
Okay, Mr. Evans, would you like to respond?
Yes. I
do not own slaves, but I think it is a necessary evil because it helps stable our economy, helps us grow more as an economy.
Okay, so based on economic purposes, it is important.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Adams. Mr. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Madison. Excuse me.
I think it is needed for slavery because it helps manage farms, and I own a farm. It makes it way easier for sheep, for like the function of the farm to be successful.
So to be able to make a profit, slavery is essential.
Yeah.
Okay, it's necessary. Mr. Franklin.
Mr. Jefferson, in the Constitution you wrote that all men are created equal. Aren't slaves considered men? And also, you've had affairs with slaves and you've had children with them. So.
Order. How do you answer that one, TJ?
I don't know how to answer
I don't know.
that one. I really don't.
You got that one. Well, are you pleading the fifth on that one? Okay. All right. Well, I would say thank you, Mr. Franklin, but no. All right. It kind of goes with a little bit of what Mr. Franklin said. In the Declaration of Independence, it states that all men are created equal, like you said. With this being said, in your opinion, was the Constitution created flexible to be a flexible document so that it could change over time with the political and cultural climate of the time, or should it be strictly interpreted in all aspects of the government? Mr. Adams?
Oh, well, I believe that it is a flexible document. The nation should be able to change within time, seeing that technology would change also.
Okay, thank you very much. Would anyone else like to, Mr. Franklin?
Well, the Constitution was created to be flexible. For example, Alexander's Hamilton's First National Bank was used that loose interpretation. That's a good point. Because the National Bank was necessary for economic growth.
Okay, anybody else like to respond? Mr. Jefferson?
I disagree with the National Bank because the Constitution does not say that so much power can be put into one branch. It is to be given to one branch to strict over all of the banks.
Well, you also made the Louisiana Purchase, which you caused a loose interpretation there. So,
In order to keep our economy going, we need more land for more farms.
but you also need a national bank for your economy.
Remember to let people finish speaking before they're done. Okay?
I cannot.
Plead the fifth. All right, that'll be the new, I can't speak anymore. Okay. All right, well, how about this one? Do you agree or disagree with the ending of slave importations in the year 1808? Agree or disagree with the importation? Now remember, slavery is not going to end, but we're not importing from Africa or the Caribbean anymore after 1808. What are your thoughts on that? Because, in 20 years or so, we're going to talk about westward expansion and slavery, but we're not going to get into that today. Anybody on this one? John J.
What was the question?
Do you agree or disagree with the ending of slave importations in 1808?
I disagree. I try to enforce non-importation
Yeah,
because
please excuse this interruption. Life Touch is here for retake. Anyone that has a package and would like to retake their photo, please come down to the vocal music room at this time. If your last name starts with an A through an M, that's A through M. Thank you.
okay, I disagree
Yes, we need to
to
listen.
importation because in 1774 I attempted to enforce non-importation, and I also attempted to end slavery a couple of times.
So you agree with it?
No, I disagree. I try to enforce non-importation.
You don't want them to import slaves anymore?
Right.
Right.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. All right. Patrick Henry.
I disagree because we need slaves for smaller plantations so we can make a profit so the economy won't go down.
like to discuss this issue of importation of slavery before we move on? Oh, Mr. Bird.
I think that we should still import slaves, being Abraham tried to dealing with Jefferson, him having his slaves. So, dealing with him and his relations to them, that they should still do that.
So the fact that
His slaves.
Thomas Jefferson had slaves, it's okay for everybody else to have slaves and it's going to benefit the economy?
Not everybody. I think land, people who own land, large amounts of land should have them. But other than that, they should not.
Okay. All right. Next question. There's only going to be a couple more. All right. So the Indian problem. It is obvious that we want land to our west and that land is being occupied by our Native American brethren. It is the right of those that have, is it the right of those that have power, such as the United States, to take over land that was in possession of the same people over thousands of years? Basically, the idea of Darwinian manifest destiny. Is it the right and duty of the United States to expand west while trampling the natives? Do you all understand the question?
No, not really.
In basic form, do we have the right to go west and basically take the Indians' land? Mr. Franklin.
Well, in Darwinism it states that the strongest will survive, and I do not support this because they're all people. It's not humane to go into Indian territory and take their land, which, they grew up in their land. It's not ours to take.
So the land that we own, particularly right now, from the East Coast all the way over to Mississippi, wasn't that Indian land to begin with as well?
It was Indian land, but we bought it from them. We didn't forcibly take it.
Is that right?
Well, our forefathers, and I am a forefather.
Okay, but who was before you?
The British that were there, they took the land forcefully, and we broke away from the British because of their tyrannical reign over us, and I'm pretty sure that the Indians feel like us in this situation.
I mean, shouldn't we just blame everything on the British?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Franklin. Anybody else want to respond to what has been known as the Indian problem and westward expansion? People raising their hands on this one. No? Okay. What government branch should have the most power so that tyranny doesn't take place? State your reason. What government branch should have the most power so that tyranny doesn't take place? State your reason. Yes, Mr. Henry.
I believe the judicial branch has the most power because it's closest to the people.
The judicial branch is closest to the people?
Yeah.
Can you explain that a little bit? I'm kind of not understanding how.
It defends the rights of the colonists.
It defends the rights of the colonists? Is that what you said? I
It
thought we were...
defends the rights of the Constitution.
Oh, the Constitution. Okay, Mr. Adams.
Oh, I'm going to say central or federal, because we fund the military and things to protect our country, I should say.
Okay, so looking at the government itself, you think that we should have a strong central government?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. But we're talking here about the branches too. We're talking about the legislative, the executive, which is the president, and the judicial.
So, yeah, I would be executive.
This is kind of a trick question, everybody. Okay? Yes.
I believe taking power away, some of the unnecessary powers that the executive branch has right now, and giving them to the other two, the legislative and the judicial, would help us from preventing a situation where the president or other strong person may become a tyrant.
So in your opinion, the
something that Houston has right now.
Can you give me an example maybe of
Um,
power that you think is too much for the president?
I know he has some unnecessary powers when it comes to alienation, things like that.
Okay. All right. Anybody else want to answer this question? I mean, what happened when we first created the government? Wasn't there some kind of compromise? Wasn't there some kind of compromise that was made? And what was that compromise? That was a great compromise, right? And there was also a thing called checks and right. So I would have assumed that some of you would have said,
Having checks and balances, they should all have a balance of power and not just one overpowering the other.
and the purpose of that is.
So that's what it says. So one doesn't have one enough power than the other one.
Okay, so that it's all balanced.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're
All right. All right. This will be the last question of the day. So if you have not spoken, I would.
John Marshall has something to
Oh, John Marshall, my fault. Go ahead.
I agree with
Aaron Burr.
Aaron Bird, for I feel the code will strengthen the branches of the government, such as legislature, executive, and judicial, and making code equal to each other.
I honestly didn't hear you. Could you repeat that?
I for one agree with Aaron Bird, for I strengthen the legislative, executive, and judicial branches, and to create a code equal government.
All right. Does anybody else want to respond to this question? All right. Last question. Comment on the following. The Alien and Sedition Acts were directly against the Bill of Rights and the point of the Bill of Rights being put into the Constitution. Maybe it's not worded properly. The Alien and Sedition Acts went directly against the Bill of Rights and the point of the Bill of Rights being put into the Constitution. So, did the Alien and Sedition Acts go directly against the Constitution? Since the Bill of Rights are your 10 inalienable rights. I suppose I could field the back row, maybe, but I didn't see if any of these guys want to first, so you have to go last. Go ahead.
yes,
Yes, what?
that the Alien Sedition Act went against the Constitution, because the Constitution is for everyone's freedom, and I was the one who opposed it.
You opposed it?
I opposed the Alien Sedition Act because in the Constitution we are the people. It's not just one clan group or whoever. And it also states that everyone has freedom and mostly that.
Does that freedom extend to non-citizens?
No.
That's for anybody.
No, it doesn't.
All right, well, I'm going to hold off on you guys that have spoken. I'm going to give you an opportunity to speak if you want. Did you talk? Okay. Did you talk? Okay, did everybody talk here? Okay. We've got a back row Aaron Burr that wants to say something over here. Go ahead.
Okay, I believe that it did go against it because the Bill of Rights were supposed to be in the Constitution and it's going against the rights of the people.
Okay, I missed part of that, so I was talking about. Say it again. Yes.
Can you repeat the question one more time?
That's honorable, Mr. Bellis. Yeah. Do the Alien and Sedition Acts go against the Bill of Rights?
Yes. I
Okay.
had it explained to the, okay. Because the Bill of Rights, the right of the people was supposed to be in the Constitution, and since it went against the Bill of Rights, it went against the Constitution.
Okay, I'm going to go with one last one right here. Mr. Washington, last answer the whole day, and then we're going to need to clean up.
I think it went against the Bill of Rights because it provokes the freedom of speech, the Sedition Act, so
Guys,
people have the right to
respect.
whatever they want.
Okay, well, thank you, Mr. Washington. Thank you, everybody, for coming today. Distinguished guests, it's been great.